Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to my Feel Good Friday vlog. This week is actually the anniversary of me finding my baby begonia coconut, Bitey McBiteface, Bubble Boopy, in the garden centre. So to celebrate, here is part 2 of how I found her. I'm going to read the story out, and if you haven't heard the first part, please, before you listen to this story, please, I'd be really grateful if you could go back a week to last Friday's YouTube vlog where I tell you the first part of the story. So get a cup of tea, get some ginger nut biscuits if you fancy, and listen to the delightful story of how I found my little sweetie. Thank you. Stray Cat Rescue Part 2. When two feral free spirits collide. I tried to talk myself out of it all night until I finally told myself to stop talking to myself, go to bed, and you'll know in the morning. Woke up in an absolute panic. Flew out the house and tore around South Liverpool in George Michael looking for a pet carrier, litter box, litter, food, and bowls. I casually, intensely browsed some consumer comparison websites for the best cat carrier last night. But in reality, they were all useless. After 3 fruitless retail park hits, I was becoming a bit desperate and finally ram-raided B&M Superstore. They smashed it. Within 5 minutes, I was surrounded by a crowd of ladies in the cat aisle, listening to the begonia story like it was a Channel 5 Hallmark movie. I was so wired, I managed to shove 2 boxes of food, the carrier, the litter box, the lid to the litter box with integral flap, under my arms and drag a huge sack of litter with the third spare hand. Everyone I dragged past said, "You should have got a trolley." I said, "I know, I haven't even got the cat yet. I've started something I won't be able to finish for 20 years. In the queue at the till, another lady shared her own 5-cat story with me and carried some of the burden of the now torn sack of cat litter, which the cashier insisted I lift onto the conveyor belt for scanning. Tense, stressed, sweaty, I calculated my chances of dragging this load across the car park and immediately cashed in one of my new over 50 fuck it chips and said, "This bag's ripped. Can I have another one?" Grumpy cashier unintentionally redeemed herself by unhelpfully telling me there was a pile of them by the doors. Result, right by the trolleys. I abandoned the rip bag where it was and left them to it. I humped another massive sack of litter into the deep trolley, piled the other essentials on top, and shoved it up the incline towards George Michael, who was waiting like an expectant father. These cat shit bags, well, they shit. I hiked it out of the trolley, and the whole thing ripped in an explosion of wood chip shrapnel. I've been in a similar state of trolley fail rage in the past in the same car park. But I didn't have as much time to put up a fight today, so I put what was left of the litter in the boot, slammed it shut in protest, and tapped "cat" into the sat-nav. It was another wide-eyed drive to the garden centre, but this time I was ready. The anxiety of "what if she's not there" was omnipresent. But I overrode that agony with "what if she is there?" As I pulled into the car park, I changed spaces about 5 times. I did this with a pair of shoes once when I was moving to New York for God knows how long, completely alone. Funny how stress comes out in weird little ways, isn't it? I entered through the automatic doors like a spy. I'm sure I looked normal, but I definitely didn't feel it, and neither did walking. What if she's not there? Through the indoor section. Nobody stopped me. What if she's not there? Through the aquatic area. Nobody looked at me funny. What if she's not there? Through the outdoor area. What if she's not there? Down to the last polytunnel. I'm not going to lie, I delivered a full dramatic backwards entry through a door and slow-mo turnaround to the counter where I'd met her yesterday. She was there. There she was, a little critter on a cushion, black at the front, brown at the back. I called for emergency backup immediately. Where are my ladies? A new lady who was not there yesterday was the first person I found, so I filled her in on every detail. We had about a 20-minute chat, but then I asked for yesterday's lady too. The more ladies the better under these circumstances. Yesterday's lady was the voice of God, and without any hint from me, told me not to worry about not working abroad anymore, and to write my memoirs. I said I was doing that. It's a sign or serendipity or something. Their kindness and wisdom was everything I needed. They so generously listened to all my worries and woes that seemed to go beyond the commitment of needing to own a cat, and offered genuine life advice and the promise that if it didn't work out, I could just bring her back to the garden centre. They laughed as I said, I'll just go get everything from the car. It took all three of us just to put the carrier together, mostly because I was in a tightly controlled state of hysteria. Two of us failed to get her in the carrier because this sent her into an uncontrolled state of hysteria. But one bowl of food and one expert chicken wrangler later, I was helped, sort of shoved out of the polytunnel with love and told to sing to her. There were two sets of wide eyes on the drive home, and George Michael was very quiet. There was some deep wowling, but mostly cowering and staring. My overriding emotion was compassion for this little scared thing. I just wanted to get us both home and take care of her. Was she going to like it? Was she going to freak out? Was she so feral and free that she'd hurt herself indoors? I got us all inside and opened the cage door of the carrier. Her delight was obvious and excitement palpable. She's clearly so happy to be in the living room, I wondered if she'd once already had a home and had either been kicked out or become lost. She very slowly looked around and appeared to be filled with familiarity and recognition. That lasted about half an hour, then she dematerialized. I found her 4 hours later under the bath. In those 4 hours, I left her to investigate her new house. I lay on the sofa to decompress. There were waves of emotion flooding through my chest cavity. I could feel hormones and chemicals filling my torso. It was not what I expected. It was love. Actual, physical love. Warm, safe, calm love filled my body, and I went to find her with some food. I searched and searched, but there was only one crevice left in the house where she could be. The endless drama of the missing bath panel had given her some sanctuary, but it had been long enough. I couldn't see her in the dark, but I took a punt and I lay down on the hall floor with an outstretched offering to the tiny bathroom god. It didn't take much tempting, to be honest. A slow but steady creep into the light appeared eyes first. That was it. She had some grub. We had a hug. We were family. I don't know whether I had changed or whether she had changed me, but either way, I hadn't felt this happy in ever. There were so many questions. Are you pregnant or is it worms? Are you chipped? And will I have to register a fake name at the vets and grab you and run if you have another home? How old are you? Everything made perfect sense and everything felt totally right. She might be full of worms and fleas, but to be honest, I've had worse boyfriends. Seeing her tiny little face discovering the delights of a deep-filled duvet was joyous. So, snuggle up, little un. Begonia coconut, we's family now.